Don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any other narrative that makes them look bad.
One thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who acts like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico, they never lie.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I hide, my ancestors speak. They tell me the tide is in front on us like real weak. I haven't been getting sleep. Longing to sing until I surpass peak. Until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their bones would bleed. Begging the generations remember our.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. I hope all is well with everybody in attendance. Thank you for being here, King's Table. I am your host, Creed. I have my partner in crime here. If you want to introduce yourself to the people, you got the floor. Shout outs to my poets, writers, and content creators. I turn it over to you just to let the people know a little bit about yourself before we start the show.
Thanks, Creed. It's lovely to be here with you again. My name is Nat Skula, and I am based in Croatia. I'm half English, half American. I've been doing a lot of podcasting in the last 10 years, and I'm quite opinionated about certain things. And talking about this is a really important topic, what we're going to talk about today. It's fascinatingly interesting, actually. And on a personal note, I'm divorced. I ride a motorcycle. I'm big into MMA and jiu-jitsu training and stuff like that. And I'm also a Christian, to kind of throw that in there as well. So that's going to be also an interesting part of this conversation. It's a brutal one, this. When I watched this Instagram reel, I was like, oof. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. So thank you for inviting me again to be on your show.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Yeah, man. You social media, it provides you with just some interesting stuff, man. Like the more and more I scroll, I just continuously see how different lives we have out here, man. And this gentleman is a prime example of clout chasing going wrong. A number of other factors that I want to point out too in the duration of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this up on the big screen. I'm gonna let it play out. Y'all see the title, but so you get a better understanding of what we're watching.
They're trying to tell me leave alone. On social media, they're trying to tell me leave money alone. Cedric Dorsey painted himself Pimp.
Why I'm a pimp.
With money, swagger, and influence.
SCCC 333.
But investigators say his lifestyle was built by forced sex work, as Dorsey trafficked a woman into prostitution in Seattle, Bellevue, Kent, and Las Vegas. It all came undone in 2024 when Bellevue police responded to a domestic violence call involving Dorsey and his victim.
They listened to what that victim was telling them and realized things weren't just adding up for her and what she was saying, and that she was in a very dangerous situation.
Bellevue Police Major Ellen Inman says patrol officers noticed signs of trafficking and called detectives.
When you ask them questions, they're answering repeatedly in these kind of scripted or answers that sound like they're rehearsed. When they served the search warrant on his premise, they recovered $12,000 in cash, along with those 3 firearms, one of which was stolen, and a banned firearm.
King County prosecutors hit Dorsey with charges of human trafficking, promoting prostitution, and unlawful possession of a firearm.
We see very significant violence, strangulation, beatings, assaults.
Prosecutor Brayla McGinnis tried Dorsey's case where his own social media posts were used as evidence, including this one about the 304 oath, where prostitutes promise not to cooperate with police and say they aren't victims.
One of the biggest rules of the game is not to talk to police. It is that idea of selling the dream, right? Saying, I have these nice things. If you come with me, you can have all of this, right? And when you're talking to someone who has had a very rough upbringing or a very troubled life, that's the vulnerability that they exploit.
That's the way I look at social media and the use of different ways that people advertise their criminal activity, is that if you make it available for the Bellevue Police Department, in this case, to access and use as part of our lawful investigation, then that's what we will do.
After being found guilty at trial this spring, Dorsey is now starting a 35-year prison sentence.
We were able to take a very dangerous criminal off the street and hold him accountable for his actions.
Now, local and state officials have been really trying to get a handle on this issue of illegal sex work. And one of the proposals supported by the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office was a bill earlier this year in the legislature that would have increased the penalty for those who are buying sex work, the Johns in this case. But that bill did not make it out of committee this year. Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, Como News.
So I don't know how you want to tackle this. We can go piece by piece. We can start with like our initial reactions to it and then peel back the layers a little bit. When you first watched it before this, because I know you had some time to kind of let it sizzle in your spirit a little bit. How did you feel coming into this stream?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on there, right? Clearly, this guy, was very impressionable when he was younger. He's been sold a lifestyle, right? And I think also 35 years is quite extreme for that when you're considering the penalties that happen everywhere else. But perhaps he didn't show any remorse. I mean, we don't actually know. Like, we weren't in court, right? We weren't there, but and we don't know all the details, right? And the thing is that we don't know how many women he had working for him. We don't know how he manipulated them. We don't know if he was trafficking women or not. We really don't know very much, if I'm perfectly honest. So we, from my point of view, I can only talk about it from an onlooker at, what I've just seen, right? I think if we did some deep research, and I'll do a little research maybe into this, and see if I can find anything else out, and we'll sort of see what goes. But I think, the whole thing is, in some places it's legal, in some places it's illegal. It's just a huge topic, man. We could talk for an hour on this topic, really, if I'm honest. What's your sort of view while I have a little look and see if I can find anything else?
So I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to give two different sides. On one side, I'm going to say they did enough digging in his background to come to the conclusions that they did. On the flip side, I'm going to say the only reason why they even got him at all is because he told on himself. Because his music and because the type of content that he puts on social media allowed them to watch, observe, and then follow the paper trail, the digital footprint of everything that he had going on. There's a part of me that would say maybe there's a conspiracy and they're just trying to just put somebody behind bars because of his complexion. A lot of the justice system doesn't really uphold the law the way that it's supposed to. It's very flawed, extremely flawed, in fact. So I guess there's a number of ways you could look at this. That's my initial reaction to all of it, though.
Yeah. Well, it's brutal, isn't it? I mean, it looks like here from what it says here that the 2 counts included a mandatory 60-month firearm enhancements, right? So like that's mandatory, right? And let me see here. Human trafficking in the 2nd degree, promoting prostitution in the 1st degree, and obviously the firearm, right, in the 1st degree. But you're right, he bragged on social media. But I think he should have known better. Like, he was 32 years old. I mean, he looks a lot younger, but he was 32 years old, right? So, but the thing is that the victim, who is described as his girlfriend, told the investigators that he posed as her boyfriend, but forced her into sex work, right? So he booked the hotel rooms, he posted ads, made her turn over all her earnings, required clients to send deposits to prove they weren't police, and he controlled her movements and work, right? So across multiple cities, basically, he trafficked her, and he also physically abused her, apparently, including stomping on her face so severely that she needed hospitalization, right? With that said, right, clearly they've done their research here. And it's, it's heinous, isn't it, really? Like stamping on a woman's face, like stamping on anyone's face, right? Unless like they're trying to kill you, even then it is like a heinous thing to do. Like it's just horrendous, isn't it? It's horrendous. But bragging about how cool you are as a pimp on social media is dumb. It's dumb, right? But desperation, right? Desperation, I'm not condoning the guy's behavior, because you can't condone someone's behavior for that sort of thing. But what I am saying is being desperate so that you can pay your bills may drive you to doing extreme things. But I think that is too extreme, right? Clearly he did it because I don't know, he was just sold this dream. I mean, maybe he listened to too much gangster rap when he was younger and mixed with the wrong people. Like we just don't know, do we, to be honest, Creed?
So there's 2 things that I'm looking at. His forefathers and his fathers before him, who taught him? What taught him? The other thing I'm looking at is the woman in question and the women in general who decide to go down this road. You know, you may have had a difficult life, a traumatic upbringing, never got help for it. And then I'm thinking about a culture who celebrates and supports it. And when I say support it, what I'm talking about is we have to take this tree, then we add little branches to it. You have people who will tell you to mind your business. It has nothing to do with you. So by default, to me, in my eyes, you're still kind of supporting it because you don't have no pushback on it. You're trying to be indifferent. You just don't want to pick a side or take a stand for anything. It's like you see somebody getting the crap beat out of them in front of you, they might end up losing their life over it. An hour later, all you can say is, well, I hope they do what they need to do and make sure that this criminal goes to jail, but you were present. Then you have the folks who they advocate for the immorality. They don't see nothing wrong with it because it's their choices, this, that, and the third, and you make all of these excuses behind why a person. Come on, we know better than that. At 32 years old, who helped cultivate this idea that playing on another human being's mental, spiritual, and emotional instability was okay? That it was just fine to manipulate them, or even if you're not manipulating, you're just kind of taking their vulnerability and you're benefiting off of it. You still are guilty by just even using it like a tool. Like I got a washing machine just for my dirty laundry and clothes. I push the buttons, I turn, it does what I needed to do. You ain't no different when you go out here consciously telling these women that they're safe, that they're protected. This is the best for you. I love you. This is how I cover you. This is how you get out of all of your ailments. This is how you heal. This is how you break away from. You are one of the worst type of people to be out here in public, let alone on social media, making music and promoting this content to the public as if it's something that we're supposed to be supporting. So yeah, it's like so many different things here.
It's just brutal. Right? I mean, look, I should be completely against prostitution, right? And I should be against sex before before marriage, right? But I'm not, right? And I should be, because it's in the Bible and I am a Christian. And the thing is that these things are not good, right? They're not good. And it isn't a question of, for me, like who made who do what. It's a question of it being led by demand, right? A lot of this is led by demand. So there's a demand for it, right? So they're gonna just do it, aren't they? I mean, there's a demand, they're gonna fulfill it. And some of the women like what they do, right? Some of them women like it, right? Just like some guys are doing it, right? Okay, they like to be paid for sex, right? Like that's. But this is different because she's clearly been beaten up and she's making claims and he's definitely manipulated her. There's no mention in the research I've done that there's any other women involved, right? So he's just basically running this working girl for himself, right? And he doesn't care about her, right? Like that's the thing. I don't know how you could sort of manipulate a person like that, right? I just don't get it. Like, but there are levels to this, aren't there? There are levels, yeah. There's like there are these women that, you know, they get a message on Instagram from some you know, some guy in Dubai who's got a Bentley, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go on a yacht and be in Dubai, and I'm gonna get, and then they get fucked, right? Sorry to swear, like they have the have it happen to them, right? And but it's a different form. It's the same thing, right? It's they're basically being paid for services, right? And
Network.
it's just seedy, right? It's just seedy, and it cheapens women, right? And it cheapens that connection as well between a man and his wife, right? It cheapens all of it, doesn't it? At the end of the day,
Yeah, we've gotten past if people respect the doctrine in the book. Nobody honors it. And like for me personally, in my own space, sex before marriage never seems to work out for people.
no.
For different reasons, though, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That the Houston situation with the spring break and everybody coming back 45,000 plus with all types of STDs and things of that nature. I just, the more and more I see how folks are advocating for having relationships, HIV positive and all that, nah, you can't tell me that you would rather have indiscriminate interactions with people sexually outside of the word than in the word, where at least you know whoever you're laying down with, you safe, they're safe. You ain't got different spirits and different fluids being exchanged between you and an unknown person that you have. I'm cool on that. I find it disappointing that we've gotten to the point where you have music out here that has been held to such a high standard that you can say that a person is corny for not living by this code just because this person is a blue check guy or girl, or they sell out concerts or whatever the case may be. Whoever this woman is and whoever else might be attached to his lifestyle, you got to be broken. I don't think a healed person or anyone in their right mind would ever allow themselves to be treated that way. Ever. I know hard times. I know the economy ain't really favorable for a lot of us, but to have another human being have that type of control over you in that type of way where you're risking your life out here on the street, and then you conflate that with love, you can't be stable. Now, I guess one of my things has always been with this is the sex work part as well, right? So y'all can do what y'all want, because whatever comes from it, guess what? I ain't got nothing to do with it. You made the choice. Should sex work Well, put it this way: what's the difference between this version of sex work and OnlyFans and brothels and escorts and IG models selling and marketing their self on Instagram and Facebook and all that? What's the difference?
Good point. I mean, I think looking at what a lot of these guys do. I mean, in England, we've had this rape gang inquiry, right? This awful situation with these Pakistani gangs, grooming gangs, who were grooming young girls, plying them with drugs and alcohol. First of all, alcohol and cigarettes. Then they ply them with drugs. Then they rent them out to their friends and their networks, right? And it probably is the same with this guy. He probably ended up getting her on drugs, so she's desperate and this, right? And in that instance, I think it's horrendous, right? It's absolutely horrendous because you're more than manipulating someone. You're basically getting them addicted to substances, and then you're taking the substance away unless they do what you tell them, right? And we don't know if that's what he did. I mean, they might not have even mentioned that in court. But the closer you get to God, the less you actually want to have sex out of marriage, really, to be honest. And I think, I've got a number of friends who have kind of got a lot closer to God, and they're like, well, I just don't want all these kind of meaningless sort of relationships. And I'm not talking about prostitutes, right? I'm not talking about hookers here. They just don't want just random sex with women, right? They're not bothered by it anymore, right? It just feels dirty. It just feels disgusting. It's like you might feel good at the time, but it just goes hand in hand with like drinking lots of alcohol, etc., right? But this guy, he's just sort of making a mockery of the system, isn't he? Because and like, we just don't know, do we? Like, that's the point. Like, we don't have enough information, but clearly the jury had enough information to bang him up for 35 years. 35 years. He's going to be like literally 65, maybe 60 if he's lucky when he gets out. Because you're a lot harder, aren't you, in America than in a lot of Western countries. Like in England, the firearms charge would probably be one of the most brutal charges for this. He'd probably get 10 years for the firearms, and then he'd end up, maybe another 10 years for everything else. And then he'd be out in 6, right? I would think, roughly. But that is an AK-47, isn't it? So, you get caught with an AK out there, you're kind of an illegal AK. You're in trouble, aren't you, at the end of the day?
Yeah. He was done with the guns, period. The trafficking.
But did he kidnap this girl? How did he? That's what I want to know. Like, did he literally just kidnap her from another county and then traffic her across and rent her out, or what? Like, that's what I want to know. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to see if I can find out anything else. Right. So give me a minute and let me know what you think about that.
Yeah, you got none. So, like, based off of what I heard, he made her think that they were in a relationship. And then eventually he kind of just convinced her to get into this lifestyle. And I've heard that it's like a process that they do a lot. They already play on your vulnerabilities. You're not really connected with your family like that. Maybe you didn't have a dad. Maybe your mom wasn't really guiding you in the ways that she should have, and you just kind of get thrown out here to figure it out yourself. A lot of people get thrown out here to figure out life themselves. And then you come across men and women who don't have no type of moral compass. They just see somebody that they could control and use to their advantage, and they play on your little things going on. Next thing you know, you think that by you giving your body away to this person or that person, or if you extend your kindness or your money or whatever it is that's of value to them, by you doing this stuff, it's helping you secure their attention, their love, because that's how you grew up. They know it, used against you, and then we just have a whole lot of people out here doing similar things, But I don't know if he necessarily snatched her up in a white van and then just took her somewhere.
No. It looks like she was 21, right? So that's pretty horrendous as it is, right? She's 21 years old, yeah? Like literally. And at that age, you know, what he did is it apparently, it says here that he basically he physically abused her multiple times to keep her in line, right? And she needed to be hospitalized at one point after he'd stamped on her face, right? So domestic violence is just a horrendous thing, right? But it looks like here he's basically he sold the dream by flaunting wealth and nice things online, and exploiting her rough upbringing and vulnerability. And then he used violence and total control to trap her, is what it says here. So it's exactly what we're basically sold online. He's just basically taken it a stage further to abuse a poor young woman, basically, is what he's done. And trafficking, you see, trafficking to me is a little bit different to that, but they literally investigated him to the nines, right? And he was just dumb. It's just awful. Like, it's literally just an awful thing to do. Like, but it just happens, doesn't it? It's just like, and people like him are the only ones that really get caught. Like the major guys that do this, right? They don't really get caught.
Tell them again. People don't listen. I made a post yesterday because I was scrolling and I seen something, and this said that the Department of Justice and Mr. Orange Man, they weren't doing this. I'm not going to go there. But when you said what you said, I'm like, yeah, that's right. They pick and choose who they want to pick up, who they want to arrest, who they want to hold accountable. And that's just one of many issues that we have here. We have a broken system. We have a broken system. We have broken people. We have a ruptured economy. Our ideals gone to shit. Then you have people out here fending for themselves, doing whatever they can to make a living, even if it's at the expense of humiliating another human being. This is awful. This is absolutely terrible. You're 32. Yeah. I mean, you're 32 years old. You that lazy? You don't have no goals, no direction. You don't have nothing else that you can do outside of using blood money to fund your lifestyle. When I see these rap videos in some of these movies and things of that nature, and I see how people be flossing and trying to show off for the gram and all that. I'll just be wondering, how much blood did you spill?
Yeah.
Like, really?
But
Because
also, but
go ahead.
also the number of African Americans in jail, percentage wise, is just huge compared to the general population. It's literally, I forget the percentage, but it is literally massive. And it's driven a lot by upbringing, gang culture, poverty, etc., right? But you make your choices. Yeah, you do make your choices. But I do understand that you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you might be hanging out with the wrong people, right? I mean, we don't know. I mean, that guy, he might have rung up a crack cocaine bill with his dealer for like $500,000 and have to pay him off in 5 years. Like, we honestly don't know. Yeah, we really don't know. Yeah. And that's scary, is that there are people like him who are just looking up to how Snoop Dogg used to behave back in the day, right? And it's like, if they knew who Snoop Dogg was now, he's a Christian now, Snoop Dogg, right? And you've got, well, yeah, exactly. But you've got a lot of these rappers who are like, well, hold on a minute, like LL Cool J, who's actually, old school, right? But you've got a lot of these people that there is Christian rap music, right? And then there's like the dark side of, like, LA and like the gangsters and and it's just it's just funny, isn't it? How people go through these stages in life. And clearly he was just stuck in this day and age where he thought having an AK-47 and basically manipulating a young woman to have sex with people for money, he thought it was a great idea. And it's just, I'm just like, I've stopped judging people by my own standards. And this is what we need to do, Creed, is we need to understand that actually, just because we've got standards, right, and everyone we know has standards, it doesn't mean everybody else has to have high standards like that. And we should just be a bit more, not accepting, because that's the wrong word, but be a bit more understanding about, like, it's like, but you don't have high standards, like you just, and it's just sad. It's sad.
I don't think I try not to be self-righteous because I sin every day. Even taking a pencil off of somebody's desk is a sin. Like, the stuff that you don't think is a sin, So I'll never be that guy. My standards and my has nothing to do with me being better than this person, that person. It's
same.
It's to protect my spiritual walk, because there's so many snares and traps out there that the enemy lay out in subtle ways, through people, through things, through vices, that you have to have your own principles. You have to follow something to eliminate any chance of something or someone being utilized to take you off of your course. You have to have those. It's not to say that you bougie or nothing like that, but would you want to have a liar around you 24 hours a day? Would you be comfortable sleeping next to somebody who is keeping secrets from you? I don't think so. And I'm not trying to be extreme with it, but people can change. We get that. Folks should be held accountable. Everybody should be held accountable. I'm not the judge, though. Thank God. I'm not trying to be. That's the whole point of having a government, having judges, lawyers, and all that. Unfortunately, the system is flawed. So you got to do the bare minimum and do what you can to get your knowledge up to where you can fight these things logically without emotions involved. That being said, uh, like I said 20 minutes ago or so, do what you, if you want to be out here in the street selling your body or you want to sell drugs, that's on you. When it affects my family, when it begins to become a poison, what do you do when something is poison? You got to get rid of the poison. So if it's not doing me or my community any good, I don't see an issue with having a voice against it.
I agree. It's a tough one, man. This world we live in, and I don't want to be self-righteous at all, right? Because the only person that was without sin was Jesus, right? And everybody else is a sinner. It's as simple as that. And Christians are actually the worst people because they love to point their fingers. And it's like there's a bit in the Bible where they talk about the plank of wood in someone's eye, right? And it's like, but you've got wood in your own eye, right? And you're looking at him over there or her over there, but you've got some wood in your eye. And it's just like judging is not up to us. Like we can't, like we're not judges, right? But we can still look at these things and be horrified. Like that's the thing. Looking at it and being horrified is it's just kind of what it is. Yeah. And but that, all the systems in the world are broken, right? They're all broken. Yeah. And it's a really challenging time for a lot of people to be alive right now. But I think we're just aware of that because of social media and the internet, or it's just the same as it's probably ever been. But a lot of these comments were quite interesting on the Instagram post, which I looked at some of the comments and I was just like, okay, well, fair point. Yeah. A lot of these comments were just interesting. They made me think, really, to be fair, talking about Epstein and, and these sorts of things. And we're just at this point in our lives where like there's so much information out there and we don't know what to believe and what not to believe. But this guy was just dumb, man. He was just dumb.
Really. It's scary. You know what's scary?
No.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. We're all guilty. Nobody is blemish free. So, am I just not supposed to say nothing when my brothers and sisters are destroying their souls?
Good
because
point.
Because I'm just as guilty as they are. So shut up. Shut up. You have no right to try to save them or have an opinion on what they're doing because you ain't no better. So I'm just not supposed to say nothing at all. So are we at life where we just mind our business, let the people run the asylum, destroy everything around us because we're all guilty of something? So because we're all guilty of something, we don't have the right to stand our ground or have a voice in anything anymore. That's what it feels like. Because like you said, with the whole comment section thing, people will attack you for your opinions. People will antagonize you purposely. People will side with you. Like you have so many different voices. All right, what are we doing here? So what are we still saying? We'll just wait for Jesus to prove that he actually exists and shows up so he can judge all of this. We just don't say nothing. Let him come and do it. And then then that's just that.
I think it's a really challenging thing, being closer to God, and the closer you get to actually speaking with God, right, and reading the Bible, understanding some of the meanings behind it, because it's a very complex book. It might look simple. You might read it and think, oh, this is a simple story, but it's not simple. And actually, there's a lot of meaning in it. But the closer that we get to God, the less that we want to do things like this. The more, the less greed we have, the less urges we have to kind of to go and do these things, right? And I mean, look, I still like guns. I'm not going to say I don't like guns. I don't have any illegal firearms, right? But that's because I like shooting, right? But this guy liked guns because he wanted to look big, yeah, and he wanted to feel big, right, and take care of business, right? Is kind of his probably his attitude towards it, and it's just, I feel sorry for the guy, man. He never had the right people in his life to stop him from going down this route of, you know, the wrong direction, basically.
That's a lot of men and women out here today. I mean, it's clear as day. You just, all you got, you can just scroll and then let it. You ever seen Wheel of Fortune or Price is Right? You take the wheel and you can just do that and just stop it on. This is going to be something. Someone got shot. Someone's fighting. Someone got their foot ran over. Somebody got hit by a car. Somebody set something on fire. I mean, I wish the women who are involved in these type of lifestyles, they knew that they were actually loved and that they didn't have to live that way. I wish the men thought more highly of themselves and their calling, and they could recognize it, where what we are looking at didn't exist. More of us will put on suits and ties. More of us will be more upstanding, and we would actually be able to honor and respect this system that we are under. There's a lot of things I wish was different. Unfortunately, we don't have a collective. We're still too like that. So 35 years, I've seen people get pushed off a bridge and only get 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Brutal.
Her friend was taking a video on this, she was standing on the other side of the median thingy. Mm-hmm. Her friend was recording and she pushed her off. She survived it, but she's paralyzed.
Whoa.
And she only got a couple days.
Whoa. That's horrendous. It's just horrendous. Awful. It's like we've created social media so we can just do the dumbest things, right? And the algorithms just keep feeding us more of this dumb stuff. Yeah. I mean, look, we've all laughed at people that have like bounced on the trampoline and then bumped their head or something. Like, we've all laughed at these things, right? You know, like it's just human nature, isn't it? But it's like the extremes, all these extreme things that basically just happen. And we're like, rather than, we talked about this, I'm sure we did the other day, and like how extreme things happen. And normally people would stand and they'd get involved, right? Like that lady in that convenience store that had an argument with the guy, but instead everyone just stops and start recording on their phone. And it's just like, the whole fabric, the fabric of society, it's not broken, but it's being eroded. It's being eroded by the algorithms that feed us these endorphins to make us feel better. Clearly, the guy was high, man. Like he was high and he wanted to feel good about himself. So he got an AK, you know, got some money in his pocket and thought he'd show the world. But unfortunately, that's evidence, right? That's why I never ever record my speedometer while I'm going really fast. Not after my last speeding ticket, you know, but like we all do stupid things, but that guy did some real stupid stuff, didn't he? He was just it's the morality, isn't it? No morals at all. I don't understand how you could firstly have a woman and convince them that you love them, then beat them and then rent them out for sex. Like it's literally just awful. It's just horrendous. Yeah. It's horrendous. Really.
Yeah, you ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen what healthy love look like and you're not sure, get therapy. If you can't afford therapy, find you a church, find you a fellowship, surround yourself with folks who have the discernment, the clarity, and the wisdom and the experience to be able to guide you in the right direction. Now is not the time to keep surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And what I'm talking about is iron sharpens iron. If they're not making you better and they're keeping you stuck, for you to step away from that. I know it's uncomfortable. It might not be the most favorable thing to do. You don't want to be stuck in that same place. Because love don't put you out there on the street corner. It don't beat you. It don't stomp your face in. It doesn't put guns to your head and force you into positions that you otherwise wouldn't have done on your own. You know, so keep snitching on yourself. People, keep snitching on yourself. All of you that's pressed for clicks, likes, and views, and you out here killing people and you poisoning people and you're cheating on your spouses and you want to be braggadocious and you want to show off that you got money and you want keep snitching on yourself. Please, I want you all in jail. I don't care that much. You're not doing nothing for us anyway, other than taking up space and making the stereotypes have that much more backing to it. Please keep on doing it.
You're right. It's responsibility. That's what it is. Crazy.
That's it. I really, I'm gonna say this and close out. If you got anything you want to add, cool. These are the type of things that I sit back and I meditate on a lot. I hate to see anybody in these type of positions, but I understand that everybody's road is different. We all trying to get to the finish line, but how do you make it there? I can't even word it properly. It's exhausting sometimes, really. It really is. The whole streetwalker lifestyle, pimp lifestyle, I never ever, I always rejected it. I just stayed away from it though, because that's their choice. But no, that's not love. That's not love at all. And whether or not you think the sentencing is extreme or not, I'm glad he off the street.
Yeah. I am too. We need less people like that out there and more upstanding people in the community, right? 100%.
Do you have any last thoughts on the matter, or?
No, I think that we need to just try to be as good as we can, right? And try and be nice to people, right? And if we do see these things happening, if we do hear our neighbors beating on his wife, or she's beating on her husband, or someone's got a black eye, like, we need to find out, right? We need to find out, like, how did that happen, and help the person. Yeah, call the police, right? Like, find out, get to the bottom of it, and see if you can sort of get involved. Yeah, because actually, if you don't help that person, they may never get the help, and then they might kill themselves. Like, you honestly don't know what the repercussions are of you doing nothing. And this is something that I think is very important, to be honest.
I agree. I thank you for being here this morning. This was a great one. Shout outs to everybody who pulled up to join us in this conversation. Would love to know how y'all feel about this in general. I'm going back into the lab because, like I said, Instagram, you provide endless content. There's always something. There's never a dull day. So I hope you have a blessed and glorious day, brother. And to the rest of you, if you're on the road, drive safe. If you're at work, don't let them drive you insane. We out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Till next time.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I hide, my ancestors speak. They tell me the tide isn't front on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep. Longing to sing until I surpass peak. Until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their bones would